Hello everyone, I'm GeetmalaSarkar. I'm a watercolor artist from New Delhi, India, and I'm here to talk about how to use colors and how to mix colors, particularly using the color wheel. So I used to be one of those artists who was very I dreaded the color wheel. I found it very difficult, but gradually as I began understanding it, it has become my best friend. And it can be yours too because it is very easy to comprehend and very useful in our paintings. So let us see how we can use our color wheel to mix colors. I'll just share my camera here. So, can you see the color wheel actually? Uh, yeah, I think you can see the color wheel. I am not, one second, I'll just do the screen sharing once more. Yes, I'm sorry about this mess. I haven't had the time to clean up my table. I'm very sorry about it. So here, so we have this color wheel. This I got from Amazon long back, but I do not use it because I like to use the one which I created. And so I'll be explaining how to mix colors from the one which I have created. So what is a color wheel? A color wheel is basically a circular diagrammatic representation of the colors that we have and which visual artists use and how these colors relate to each other. So there are basically three primary colors which are red, yellow, and blue. Here is the red, yellow, and blue. So from these primary colors, we can technically create all of the other colors. So for example, if I mix two of these primary colors, I'll obtain a secondary colors. Let's say I mix red and yellow, I get an orange. If I mix, say, yellow and blue, I'll get a green. If I mix red and blue, I will get a violet or purple. So from the three colors, we obtained three more colors, which is the secondary colors. Now, these secondary colors are also called complementary colors. Why are they called complementary colors? Because they complement the colors with which they complement another color. For example, the green which we have created by mixing yellow and blue is placed directly opposite to the red. Similarly, the orange that we created is placed directly opposite to the blue on the color wheel, and the violet or purple is placed directly opposite to yellow on the color wheel. So these are the complementary colors. They complement each other means that when they are placed side by side, they will look very beautiful. And the painting will look very, if you use these colors, the painting will look very gorgeous and vivid and pretty much stunning because they are the direct complements of each other. However, if you happen to mix the two, mix green and red, or if you mix yellow and purple, or if you mix orange and blue, you will get uh, tones which are kind of desaturated and they will dull each other out. So these we just have understood about primary and how to create secondary colors. But from three colors, we went on to three more colors and we will obtain six more colors by mixing one primary and one secondary color. So for example, we have red. If I mix and red, which is a primary color, with one secondary color, orange, I will get a red orange. Similarly, if I mix orange, a secondary color, with primary yellow, I'll get a yellow orange, and so on and so forth. That means that on the color wheel, each of these primaries and secondaries will be alternated by a tertiary color. Because, for example, in this case, on this color wheel, we are moving from here, let's say red, then we cannot straight away jump to orange. What happens is first we get red-orange. We get red-orange, which is a tertiary color, and we get this because as the red starts moving towards orange, it will start getting influence, it will start attracting some of the orange into it. That's why it will become red orange. Similarly, when the orange moves from its place towards yellow, we'll get a yellow orange color. And likewise on the entire color wheel. So there are these three categories of colors which we have. One another important thing to know about the color wheel is warm and cool colors. Now, what is a warm color? A warm color is basically one which makes us feel warm. For example, if it is a sunlit day, a lighted day, we will feel quite warm. The color of the sunlight is typically yellow or orange. It can be reddish also. So the colors such as red, orange, and yellow are those which we associate with warmth. That's why they are called warm colors. And on the color wheel, one half of the color wheel, about this much of the color wheel, is said to be warm colors, and the other half, which lies in the blue, green, and violet zone, is called the are the cool colors. On one side we have the warm colors, on the other side we have the cool colors. So how do we use these primary, secondary, and tertiary colors? So first, let us understand how we can mix a particular color. Let's say, for example, I want to mix an orange color, a bright orange. So what do we need to make an orange? We need at least one red and one yellow. How do I choose that red which will give me a bright orange? When we look at the color wheel, we see that this orange, a bright orange, is located very close to red orange and yellow orange. So our colors, which is red and yellow, a mix of red and yellow, needs to be something which may have elements of both red and orange, as well as the yellow can have yellow as well as orange. Okay, so for example, I have here my palette, and I have put some permanent red color over here. Oh, sorry, there was some color on my brush already. So I have got some permanent red on my palette. Why? I took it out because I thought if I need to make an orange, I need to have a red which is quite close to orange, and permanent red happens to be one of those. Also, I thought that the yellow, then I have got new gamboge. So I thought that a yellow which is close to orange or close to yellow orange, the new gamboge looks like one. So I took these two. So let's see what do they give me. Yeah. So this is the permanent red, and I'm mixing on paper right now, and I'll take some yellow. This is new gamboge. Yeah, I do think it looks like an orange color. And it does look vibrant also, a bright color. So that means we took one red which did not have elements of blue. Why am I talking about blue now? Because red, yellow, and blue are our primary colors. From those, we can create this orange. So any red which has the element of blue, which is very far away from the orange that we want to create, is not helpful to us. A red which has little bit of orange or yellow in it, or is a neutral red, is the one which will help us. Similarly, when I chose a yellow, I chose a yellow which is close to this orange zone and is pretty far from the green zone. So my yellow, which is new gamboge over here, is already a warm color, and it is not, it has no greens in it, this new gamboge. That is why when I mix these two colors on paper, I am able to get a bright orange. Let's see about some other color. For example, okay, let me use green, try to make a bright green color, somewhat like this. May not be necessarily like this, but I will try to make a bright green color. So if any of you want to comment what are the two colors that we want to use to make a bright green, you may please comment. So to make a green, we will first need a yellow and blue. Now, what sort of yellow and blue? This color, bright green color, it lies somewhere over here, and it is close to what? It is pretty close to yellow. And this yellow is a cool yellow because this yellow is close to the yellow-green zone. And blue, the kind of blue which we will need is a blue which can have some green element also in it. Okay. But it should not have any red element in it, because if any blue has a reddish tinge to it and I am trying to create a bright green, the brightness of the green can get dulled down if I use any blue which has any amount of red in it. So I want to take a clean blue and a clean yellow. Clean yellow is one which has no element of, which has no orangish hue to it, but is completely yellow. And blue, the blue which I will take should not have any orangish or reddish tinge to it. That also, the blue may have little bit of green in it. That is okay, because we are creating a bright green color here. We want to create a bright green. So let's see, what do I have? So, okay, I have some lemon yellow, which I said that we can use some lemon yellow because it is close to the green, the sort of bright green that we want to create. So I'll take some lemon yellow. And what else should I take? I have uh, I have this color. I hope, are you able to see? Yeah. I have this color, which is, I'm trying not to use the names of the color because I want us to understand color by the look of it. So this color happens to be a lighter version of blue. So I'm taking this color. There was some yellow on my brush. That's why this has become slightly greenish over here. So let's see, can it create a bright green sort of color? I think this is looking like those green shoots. It does have some, uh, when we mix a color, we need to understand what is the ratio also. We need to understand what the ratio of the colors that we are mixing. So here I am mixing an adequate amount of yellow and blue. This blue is cerulean blue chromium. But by the looks, because I'm trying to explain by the looks of it. So I want to try out some other color as well. The other blue. The other blue which I have on palette is this. And I will mix again some lemon yellow because we had decided that to create a bright yellow, we need two colors, yellow and blue, which are sort of cool colors and far away from the red zone. And from, yeah, and I have that's why taken this yellow. This is actually too much blue. That's why it's giving me a green. This is also bright, but I need to adjust the proportion, and that's why I'm mixing some more yellow here. So yes, if we adjust the proportion according to the requirement, we can mix a bright green from these two colors. So here the point to be noted and understood is that whenever we are creating a bright green, or any color for that matter, bright green is just an example, is that we need to choose colors which are choose those two colors or those three colors which are close to this green so as to get a sort of green which we want. Okay, so close to this green is yellow and blue, yellow without any orange in it and blue without any red in it. Yeah. If I want to desaturate them, what do I do? Now to desaturate any color, we just understood some time back that we can mix complementaries. In the case of green, we can mix red, and in the case of red, we can mix green. So let us try out mixing some red in our greens to see if we can get a desaturated color or a grayish color or not, because let's see. Now I'm mixing red in this, and this does look slightly grayish. It does have a grayish hue to it. Similarly, if I mix some greens in this bright orange which I created, then again this will be dulled down. For example, any of the greens can be useful to dull it down. So I have dulled out this green. So let us create a bright bright purple color. Now what I have seen as per my experience is that we mix red and blue and we get a purple or a violet color. However, when we are mixing a red and a blue, we are unable to get the purple which we actually want to create because somehow it is difficult to mix. That's why I usually have a tube of pink, a separate tube of pink, which is very useful to create this violet or purple color, a bright purple. So I will use a bright pink here to create this purple. And what else do we need? That is the main thing that we need to understand. We have to have a good pink color, which is not leaning towards the orange, but it is leaning towards the cool zone. Why should the red lean towards the cool zone? Because it it doesn't need to have any yellow element in it. So I'll put down this pink color here. This pink doesn't have any element of yellow in it. And it is slightly cool. And now to create this purple color over here, we need to need what kind of blue? We will need a blue which is not towards our cool zone, but towards the warm zone. Any blue which is moving from its place towards the reds is what is required, because what is closest to this violet? A red which is moving away from the warm zone and moving towards the cool zone. Okay, so a cool red or a pink, and a blue which is moving away from the cool zone and moving towards the warm zone. That is a warm blue. So we will require a pink here, and I will use a warm blue, which is ultramarine blue is what I have. So I'm using that. So this is giving me a purple color. Now, why did I say that I will not use any pink or any red which has yellow or any kind of warmth in it? Is because, let's see why. Because if I had any kind of warmth in the reds or in the pinks which I used, what will I get? I will get a completely dulled out version of purple. And I wanted to create a bright purple. That is why I will not use any red which has any orange or yellow color in it. As we see that yellow is the complementary color of violet, it will certainly dull it out. Now let's see, can we go darker than this? We certainly can go darker than this, because when we mix two of any of the complementaries here, say yellow or violet, red and green, we will get a very, very dark color, which is black or very, very close to black, depending upon the ratio that we are using. For instance, here I have got my green. So I'm putting down a green, and I'll add some red to that. I've got this permanent red, as I had said. So this is the black which I am able to create. Now I can add some more green to it. So when we mix complementaries, and the ratio that we mix it in will give us the kind of black and the kind of saturation that new color, the new hue will have. Okay. So this is the basic about how to get a particular color. If you have any question, you can ask me now, or you can comment, and I will be coming back to it later. Besides this, I wanted to tell you that we can also use the color wheel to create various color schemes. Now, how do I create a color scheme? Depending upon what my predilection is, what I want to use. For example, I can have a monochromatic painting where I am just using one green or one blue or a purple or any of the colors. So I will be using this monochromatic color by having different values of it and different saturation of it. I can mix water and change the value of it by making it dark or light and change its saturation and use a monochromatic color scheme for my painting. I can also use a complementary, I already said, a complementary scheme which looks very vivid and bright. Also, I can use a split complementary, which is, say, if I'm using a blue, and though the direct complementary on the color wheel is orange, I'm not using orange. Instead of it, I'm using a yellow orange or red orange. These are the split complementary colors which I'm using instead of the direct complementary. That also makes the painting very gorgeous to look at. Besides this, there is a triadic color scheme which can be used, where three colors are equidistant to each other. Three different colors can be used which are placed at equal distance from each other. That can be used, or four such colors, which is called tetradic, can be used, which is again at equal distance from each other. However, when we are using these two color schemes, what we need to do is that we can create one main color, one dominant color, and the rest of the three or rest of the two colors can be less dominant than the one which we want to dominate. Besides this, there are analogous colors. For example, there is red, then there is tomato red, blood red, light red, dark red. So these are different kinds of reds which can be used, which are called analogous colors. And it also creates a very gorgeous painting when we paint with that. For example, I'll just few days back, I just was creating this, and in here I have used 4 colors. So 4 of these colors, and I have used this color as the main or dominant color. In fact, there are 3 colors on the flower and just one more color over here, little bit of green. So I'm just giving you an example that even with 4 colors and even with limited palette, we can create a very, very beautiful composition, which becomes eye-catching. So this is what I wanted to let you know about how to mix the colors. I think we are clear on how to create a color. That is, you first decide what color I want to make, locate it on the color wheel, and then decide what colors are the closest to it. And if you have those colors on your palette, mix them in the ratio which is required. Little bit of mixing will tell you that how close you can create that, the color that you want to create. Also, if you understand that what are warm colors, what are cool colors, it will help you in there. So thank you. Thank you everybody for coming in here. And I hope this was a good session for you and that you learned something. And I'll see you again the next time when I share a video. And thanks a lot. I'll stop the screen share now. Thank you. I'm ending the meeting.